This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of Edmonton Oilers discussion here on the channel. And today, oh crap, this is a little bit different, ain't it? A little bit of a different screen for you, and I want you to take a good look. I want you to take the best look you can, because this is exactly what it's built here to do, is give you a look at the Oilers and what they've kind of got in terms of depth. We don't really need to see Dylan Wells and the other few there, Olivier Rodrigue and the goalies. We need to see our wingers and whatnot in terms of the roster. So there you go. That's the Oilers. Right now, as it stands, these are our Edmonton Oilers. Plain and simple. You've got your centers in the top corner. You've got the right wing, left wing, goaltenders on this side, and then you've got the defense over on that side. Well, come on now. That is kind of what we're looking at. Plain as day. This is, as I said, our Edmonton Oilers for 2019-2020 as it sits now. Now, this is a dual-prong video once again. I've got the broad topic, of course. Are the Oilers a better team after July 1st? That's debatable. But the more broader question here is, what is left to do? And there is a lot left to do at this point. You'll see some names on here that very well need to be shuffled around, and you'll understand why right away. So up the middle, and at the center position, you've got Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Kyle Brodziak, Gaetan Haas, Cooper Marody, Colby Cave, Joseph Gambardella. Then you've got Brad Malone, Cameron Hebig, and Ryan McLeod. There's your core down the middle. At right wing, you've got Marcus Granlund, Alex Chiasson, Sam Gagner, Zach Kassian, Kyler Yamamoto, Josh Curry, Patrick Russell, Ostap Safin, and then Kirill Maximov. The 2-3 on the bottom, really not guys who are going to be big movers or shakers on the NHL roster this year, similar to the last three on the center chart as well. Then at left wing, you've got Milan Lucic, Jujhar Khaira, Tyler Benson, Joakim Nygard, our Swedish guy so many people are waiting on, and I really hope expectations stay low so as he can surprise us. Tomas Shirko and Nolan Vesey. The last two, really, I don't know how much you can expect out of them, but hold on, hold off. We should be good if we don't raise expectations too high like we did last season. Mike Smith, Mikko Koskinen, Shane Starrett, Stuart Skinner in goal. That leaves us the defense. You've got Oscar Klefbom, Adam Larson, Darnell Nurse, Chris Russell, Matt Benning, Brandon Manning. That's the NHL bona fide top six per se. Below them, you've got Ethan Bear, Caleb Jones, Keegan Lowe, William Legason, Evan Bouchard, Ryan Mantha, who's by all intents and purposes is actually pretty banged up, and then Dmitry Samorukov. So, Dmitry Samorukov, as much as you can put him as an outlier, I wouldn't write him off entirely as a possibility late in the season to be a roster add. Or, I mean, mind you, however incredible playoffs go for him in the regular season and we find ourselves in the playoffs with a D injury and we've already got Bouchard Jones up here, I would very well like to see Dmitry Samorukov maybe draw a game if we're down 3-0 in the series, right? Obviously, yeah, you know what, add a different dynamic. The worst you can do is lose and get swept at that point. And I would be more than happy to be in the playoffs. I mean, go back to this video if you happen to see the Oilers in the playoffs next spring, and we'll gladly talk about how happy I am to be swept at that point. However, you get where I'm going. So, that's the Edmonton Oilers. That's our team as you need to know it at this point. The question now asks itself, are the Edmonton Oilers a better team after July 1st? Technically speaking, absolutely not. That's the analysis would say. Absolutely not. The Oilers didn't do anything in free agency other than Mike Smith to really improve this team. And all that Mike Smith adds is a predictable element in net. However, unpredictable he still is due to age and decline. That's the question mark. But you're right there, you've got somebody who's been a steady force in net pretty much since he got the starter's role in Arizona back in the day. So, you know what, there's some connections there as well. And you can play it 100 ways to Sunday. But the real main topic, back to the main point, the question of, are we a better team? Not really, but you look at this roster and how it sets up, it's 1 or 2 moves away from being that better team. That's all. And the thing that we have so much gotten trapped into as Oiler fans is, as soon as something happens in the NHL world, whether it be the draft, whether it be free agency, whether it be a GM or a coach hired, we expect things to snap, change, and be done and start anew the second the change happens. And this is something I've had to come to terms with and come to realization that, you know what, the change can happen immediately, yes, but it's only part of the larger change. And if you go back to my video the other day about Ken Holland and putting everybody on notice, he's putting everyone on notice for the fact that the changes will happen, but they're not going to happen bang, 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 hour by hour on July 1st, June 23rd, or June 21st, whatever the heck it was, or September 5th. It's not going to happen all in one day, and that is the most beautiful thing to sit here and realize as an Oilers fan, right? Obviously, what did we have with Peter Chiarelli? We had a guy who, at the end of 2018, like either the second to last or last day of the year, tried to fix the roster, bang, all in one day. I mean, I remember it. I was over at my brother's, recorded the first video, came home, recorded the second one, and guys, I thought it was going to be magic. Oh my goodness. The changes are solved, and oh, we're going to be a much better team because we're going to plug the holes and we're going to be good. But that's not what happened, clearly. Or else we would have been talking playoffs or some kind of deep run or some kind of actual hypothetical possibility of the Oilers making the playoffs last year. Case in point, didn't happen. So now we get to try for the first time in a long while. No Band-Aids, no, we can fix this today. No, it's a matter of let's fix it when the time is perfect. And that's not to say that we're going to wait around and never fix it, because that's what that sounds like. But it's more of a fact that we can actually afford ourselves the luxury with what we did on July 1st, what Ken Holland did on July 1st, to set up this roster to be stable on the bottom ends of it. That's always been the problem, right? The Oilers last year, the bottom half of the roster, bare bones production. But now you've got guys in there who are either a gamble or a worthwhile cause to get in there and at least provide some depth. And you know what, to those people who are out there shouting, oh my God, we're the Edmonton Europeans now. Guys, what the does that matter? Seriously, a hockey player is a hockey player is a hockey player, no matter where they come from, until they start showing stripes of a different color. But I'm sorry, you sign a couple guys from Europe, the world is not going to end. I promise you that. It's not the 40s where 95% of the NHL was from Canada. That's not the way it works anymore. And the league has and will always continue to get better when everybody from around the globe gets to show off their talents in the best league in the world. If it was only a Canadian-American league, it would not be the best league in the world because you wouldn't be able to attract all of the best players in the world. So to sit there, that's an absolutely ridiculous point that I can't believe people are even trying to argue. Like, that one gets me frustrated. But back to the point. The bottom six is solidified. Obviously, you've got guys in the bottom six who will be dogfighting in camp. I mean, if you don't have guys coming close to dropping the gloves in camp, like we saw at some of the development camps over last weekend, guys, I don't know what's going on, because the simple fact is there are spots up for grabs, and it's going to go to the people who most deserve it. It's not the Edmonton Oilers of old where Todd McLellan's, I liked this guy last year, so we'll give him another shot. No, this year is going to be a different dynamic. New coach, hardline, old school GM who's patient and likes to see what he has, and you combine that with Dave Tippett's coaching style, I think you've got yourself a formula to build a roster unlike anything the Oilers have had in recent history. I've said that about other rosters, all right? I've said that about Todd McLellan and Peter Chiarelli, and that's fine and dandy. But again, this is different. Every time, no matter if you hire a broomstick as a GM, it'll be different that time. I mean, I don't care if it lays down in the corner and falls over 20 minutes later. It's going to be different because, you know, Ken Holland didn't fall over 20 minutes after watching training camp. Unless proven otherwise. However, back to it. What does this allow? Stabilizing the bottom 6 allows us to be a better team after July 1st. And that's the key phrasing here. The offseason is not over because July 1st ended. The clock struck midnight and oh my God, the offseason's over is not the way it works on July 2nd. I'm sorry, doesn't work that way. If you did think that's what happens, if you think we only had one day to improve this roster, you are very mistaken, my friend. We are in for another 64 or 65 days, if my math is correct, to get this job done. The building of the bottom 6, the solidification of the roster now allows us to actually target day by day, progress by progress, who is going to make up that top 6 right wing or left wing spot that we're so coveting at this point. The thing you don't see here is Jesse Puljujarvi, who's still unsigned, is not in this list. He's a bargaining chip. And this is the beautiful part. This is going to be, if you use Jesse Puljujarvi, it's going to be one of those, well, what do we see? Kerfoot Barry trades. That's what it's going to be like. That's the magnitude of a Jesse Puljujarvi trade at this point. 1-for-1 Jesse Puljujarvi for someone achieves nothing for the Oilers, achieves nothing for the other team, just a straight across swap of problems, essentially. So, you ask yourself, well, how do you make a package? It all depends how you want to build your roster. And if you're looking for one guy in particular, you're going to have to take a chance. Obviously, the name thrown out there, Gusev or Nikita Gusev, stay the frig away. $4 million gamble on an unproven Russian player, it just doesn't make sense. As, you know, the problem is, it's nothing against Russian players. It's the fact that the KHL is such a strong allure that you go over and you trade for him, and then you lowball an offer and he hikes it over to the KHL. That's the way it works in the KHL Russian NHL dynamic. That's unfortunately the way the hockey economy, if it were, works. So the Oilers can't afford $4 million for Nikita Gusev and to trade for him expecting to get him for less at this point, as many of you try to point out, is probably bunk. Well, why would you bother? So scratch that. Scratch that off your list. Let's look elsewhere. Thing is, looking elsewhere, you can't exactly do it today, tomorrow, the next day. You have to do it over the course and track the trends in the cap and track who's trying to get what achieved and where's the money coming from, where's the money going. And once you identify a pattern in what you're looking for, that's when you can cash in. And especially, you give yourself some time to, okay, well, Connor McDavid's going to be full health to start training camp. Okay, this the trigger we're pulling. Or Connor McDavid's going to be full health to start the regular season. Then we got to pull the trigger on this trade. And you gotta patiently observe all the factors that go into making this a better roster now that the bottom 6 is solidified. So you look at it today. Are the Oilers better after July 1st? Yes, but. That's the answer. My answer is yes, but. We've still got work to go. And the beautiful part, if you were panicking, that July 1st being over, clock striking midnight on July 2nd, means the offseason's over. Far from it, buds. Let's go get this. Another 64 days, 65 days to go. We're in for a long ride. Brandon Manning trade's got to come. You got a couple trades. Obviously a Kyle Brodziak trade probably. And maybe a movement of either Ethan Bear or somebody on the back end to try and free up, not necessarily a contention spot on the back end, but free up that ability to get somebody in a trade. Guys, I'm Tyson, this is Dolynny TV. I hope I made sense. I went on quite a few tangents there. But I will catch you guys, as always, in the next one.